So can I ask you to do me a favor? Suburban women, will you please like me?
Gentlemen, welcome. Please find a seat and relax. We have a lot to discuss. Welcome one and all. I'm KC.
And I am DC.
And we are two goddamn gentlemen bringing to you this and every week a celebration of all things murder castles and limp dick rape shacks. Head over to twogoddamngentlemen.com where you can find links to our Twitter, voicemail, YouTube, and Patreon, which gets you access into the live Discord during the show, and also access to our bonus Lady of the Night episodes, a new one of which is available right now. DC, if you would please read back the minutes to last week's meeting.
Speaking of Ladies of the Night, Casey, we do have an update from one of them. However, let's go first to our Gentleman of the Week last week. We brought in, as you said, Murder Castles and Limp Dick Rape Shacks, H.H. Holmes, the demon doctor of Chicago. It's another murderous doctor for you. You really want to die in surgery, don't you?
It's
like
become
your
a
deepest dream.
It was something I'd never thought about before, but now I'm kind of invested. Yeah.
And Andrei Chikatilo, the Ukrainian limp dick fuck that killed somewhere north of 50 people, and I have my doubts that either one of these guys will end up in the positives as far as gentlemen go. But dude, your 1800s, like early 1900s kind of thing, people, I don't know.
They're into it. Let's see
it.
Let's see if it continues. Hey,
there he is.
Look at him.
You
got
the top three.
H.H. Holmes on the podium right now.
I can't believe it, dude. Top three. I have one. And you've got four.
For the audio non-patrons, or if you're not on YouTube, I don't know why you're not, but whatever. You do you. King Henry VIII, still the ultimate gentleman, followed closely by Mel Gibson and then H.H. Holmes. Porter Rockwell. The only gentleman that DC has brought to the table.
And again, he was 1800s. I think there's some kind of system. Mel Gibson, I think, is gonna, because he's gaining on King Henry. He's at +9. King Henry's coming down to +10. I think Mel Gibson will eventually overtake as ultimate gentleman.
Right now, he's the ultimate 21st century gentleman, but
yes.
he's going for that top seat. And in fact, you're right. He's the only 21st century gentleman.
Correct.
Because John Bodkin Adams also old as fuck. Although no, you know what? Bodkin Adams. Wasn't he in the 1900s? I think, he definitely was. So you know what?
But he was British. He was British. They all act like they were in the 19th century at all times. DC, I think they still do.
Let's go below the poverty line.
Let's do it.
And it is crowded, and there is your guy, Andrei Chikatilo, which, by the way, I'm so happy that last week is over, because if I had to write Chicalito and then figure out if it was right or wrong, and it was wrong every time, one more time, I was going to lose my fucking mind.
We should spell it out in Russian and just fuck with everybody. They're like, what the fuck is that jumbled mess? Yeah, he ended up at -11, which is tied with John Edwards, who also goes to -11. But there are 5 gentlemen above him, which means he just shot down, not as far as I had hoped. I say I'm upset about not having my gentleman in the top half, but let's be honest. If you're listening to this podcast, you know what kind of people I'm bringing in, and it's no mistake that he's at -11. John Bulla is at -10. Your guy, Martin Shkreli, still hanging out in the dregs at -8. Darkside Phil hanging in at -7. Russell Greer, way too much of a gentleman still. I think he was done dirty. Being the first person that we put on this list, nobody knew what to do voting wise. They were like, yeah, I guess he's
nobody
too
knew
goddamn gentleman.
Voted. Nobody knew or nobody knew what to do. And now everybody's not heard of him that has showed up to vote. They're like Russell Greer, and every other person has just randomly clicked the opposite.
Yeah, certainly not a gentleman. And Jeff Wilpon is creeping up on the poverty line. I think that now that he's washed his hands of the Mets, now they've got new ownership.
We're coming back to that, by the way.
Yeah, I hope so. I think he'll end up above the poverty line. I hope. Below Chikatilo and Edwards in the dregs are Jerry Falwell at -14 and Tommy Tudor dropping a little bit more at -15.
And then we all know what comes next. The giant gap to the shitheads at the bottom, the ultimate miscreants. It's Jonathan, Yaniv, and Maddox down at -31 and 33, respectively.
They deserve each other. They deserve each other. Now, Casey, I teased it before. You teased the bonus episode. Our Ladies of the Night. We talked about it. No, we didn't, because we had to record the day after, so we haven't even talked about the ladies. But you brought in.
We did preview them.
We did, but we hadn't. The people hadn't heard anything about them at the time. So if you are not a $5 or $10 a month patron, go to patreon.com/2goddamngentlemen and find out for yourself exactly how low the fairer sex can dip. You brought in social influencer. What was her fucking name
Micah
again?
Stouffer.
Stouffer, that's right. Stouffer. Micah Stouffer, who gave back her handicap kid. And
It's funny because it's true, actually. That was word for word correct. Yeah.
And my lady, Amber Lynn Reed, who at the very end, I snuck in that, she was dealing with some cancer. So I have an update on her. If you would please play the video.
Is it minutes 1?
We'll find out what she's up to. That's the one.
You got it. Oh God, I'm just looking. Oh, all right.
She's bigger and better than ever. Look at that. Oh, look at the arm.
Hello. So I've told the people who matter and who I know in real life, but I just wanted to update you guys. I've been having panic attacks. Oh God. So I got my results back. I have womb cancer.
No kids. No kids. Casey, she can't have kids. How fantastic. That's great news. Great news. Womb cancer. Clean it out. Get it out of there.
It's about time something got in there. So
yeah, we know her girlfriend could not fit. There's not a single digit on that woman that could fit anywhere in any crack.
Man. Is there more of this? Keep going.
No, that's it.
That's it. That's the whole.
That's it.
Nope,
That's it. Yeah, no kids.
Oh boy, no kids for her. So that's that seems rare. Womb cancer? Is that
Womb cancer. Yeah.
that was a thing.
Probably some like complication with HPV. I don't know how active she was at 12 years old when she was only 290 pounds, but you never know. You never know. She could have gotten it back then, or or endometriosis. I think there can be cancer complications with that. Who knows? It's all a mystery down there. The tubing's all a mystery to everybody, to women and men.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I have an honorary update as well, and because of the structure of tonight's show, so obviously normally we do the honoraries in between Gentlemen 1 and 2, but tonight's a special show. You already saw the title. We're getting to the nominees tonight. It is that time, but we're going to do it simultaneously, much like if you've been listening from the beginning or if you went back and heard 10 episodes ago, our open when we were roasting Casey and DC, two goddamn gentlemen. We kind of bounced back and forth, and we figure that's the only way to do this tonight. So that's what we're going to do. But DC, I do have an update on one of our gentlemen. You alluded to it a moment ago. Jeff and Fred Wilpon.
There they are. With their burner phones that the FBI is trying to get from them. What is that?
The Wilpons are selling the Mets, and I think we all know this is a terrible day for Mets fans. When you have good leadership, giving up that leadership is a giant blow to any organization. And unfortunately, I assume that the Mets will also be a casualty of that. So it's all downhill from here. Look at the last 15 years as a positive and expect worse things now. But, I mean...
Can somebody please take the sharp items away from Casey now, please? That'd be great. Any ropes and stools, take those away too.
So, just a heartfelt thank you to the Wilpons for, as a Met fan, for all their hard work, for all they've done for us. I know I only nominated Jeff, but to those of us looking at this image, I think we all know we're looking at two goddamn gentlemen right there. So, adieu, boys.
I think we're looking at two gentlemen where you can't really tell like which one would be harder to get your finger like into their mouth. Like their lips are so tightly pursed. Like you just, I don't know. Like you'd think that it would be Jeff's mouth that would be easier, because it doesn't look as pursed as Fred's. But Fred's old, so you know that you could probably like push dentures back maybe and get in there. But
Fred looks like
no lips to be had.
Fred looks like if you stuck your hand into him as a puppet, his mouth would open up like anyone on Sesame Street, just like pizza style, just straight out from the sides, not connected in any way.
He looks like Guy Smiley, like straight up. Like you could just, yeah. I think you're right.
So cheers.
Hi, Casey.
Cheers to the Wilpons.
Cheers to the Wilpons. I made a huge mistake. I told you before we started recording, but pouring this drink, I made a huge mistake. I made myself a, I guess it wouldn't be a tequila sunrise, but it's tequila and orange juice. Screwdriver with tequila. I don't know what you...
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Whatever it is.
I drank tequila in college and have not gone back down that road for a long time.
Yeah. That was rum for me. So I poured way too much tequila, and the orange juice is settled at the bottom, and the last 5 sips I've taken of this have been just straight tequila. So by the end of the show, I'll have a nice, refreshing orange juice drink. But as it were, let's get into our honorary gentleman of the week. Let's get those out of the way and clear the stage. Clear the stage for the real debate that we've got going on today. KC, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I only have one honorary. The Wilpons were...
So do I.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's go with yours first. Here you go.
This is in India, I presume. Maybe Pakistan, because this gentleman definitely does not worship that cow that's in the street. But my honorary gentleman is this old man that's going to be walking up here real shortly.
All right, so we've got just a bull just standing in the street, like not doing anything. Just
chilling. And 2 guys on the curb, like right next to it, like no big deal.
Looking at it, wondering which one of these guys. Oh, okay, we have an old man coming in with a stick.
Here's Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh no, he hit the bull and exactly what should have happened.
Just gets wrecked.
Oh, he certainly did.
But he got right back up. Like that bull tossed him into the wall and down the stairs, and he just got right back up. Life has shat on that man, and he just keeps going strong. He's my gentleman.
I'm trying to imagine just walking down the street and having a bull standing there next to a building. Oh man!
Like I have an idea.
Dude, he got
whack the shit
landed
out
on
of
his
him.
head. Oh my god!
Right back
awesome.
up.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah.
DC, my honorary for the week is I believe he works for Sky Sports. He's an F1 reporter / analyst, I guess. His name's Will Buxton. Okay. So Will came onto my radar by accident as an honorary gentleman. I've been getting into F1 for the last couple of years, as a gentleman does. And I was watching pre-race show for the race that they're doing in Italy this weekend. And then this happened in the middle. So, DC, I'd like you to just kind of pay attention. We're going to have a slow-mo at the end of this, but I'd like you to kind of pay attention to everything going on around Will, and I forget the other guy's name, but Will's the gentleman on the left. as they're going through their report.
They seem to hit upon a sweet spot, helped in particular by Daniel and the way that he's managed to steer the team. Esteban's had a really strong time as well. He's just had the lion's share of the unreliability.
Okay, so if you noticed anything, DC.
He's my nomination as honorary as well. He had his eyes on the prize, as it were, and that prize was carrying 10 pizzas.
So we have a very attractive woman walk by carrying 10 pizzas. So let's take a look. There she is going by. And then here's his eyes, very interested. But DC, we'll continue. He explains exactly.
I'm pretty excited for those guys, especially when Fernando gets in the car next year.
Sorry, my focus was just taken by, I think it was about 10 pizzas.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had a pizza yet since we got to Italy. I need one. Racing Point. Let's talk about them.
So that's what he was thinking about, DC. Was
10 pizzas. 10 pizzas and 2 pepperonis.
Will Buxton, an honorary gentleman this week.
Oh, shit. That's really funny.
Pizza doesn't go there.
It could.
It could.
It should, though.
That's true. I can't argue that at all.
Oh, fantastic. All right, Casey. Without further ado, Two Goddamn Gentlemen presents the presidential debate. Who is the biggest gentleman between the two biggest douchebags in America? I think that's what everybody decides. I mean, just based off of everybody's social media, this has to be the two biggest douchebags in
Not what
America.
I believe. No.
No?
No, I believe I'm presenting a true gentleman tonight, and I think everyone's going to agree with that. By the time I'm done arguing it, I think everybody will agree.
Well, let's give it the old college try. Let's start on my side, Casey. If you would, for me, we'll reveal... We didn't reveal who we were going to be representing, did we?
No, we have not yet.
So, as you could have guessed, from all of my rhetoric and all my jokes and you know, my maybe crass sense of humor, my red tie, all those kind of things, that I am going to be representing and nominating Joe Biden.
That's a great picture of Joe.
Casey, Joe Biden entered politics in the 70s. He had Delaware as his delegation, and let's just say he grew up in the suburbs. He talks about that all the time. He grew up in suburbia, didn't know any black people at all.
We should just set this up properly because we know this, but we are going to be doing this debate style with 3 distinct sections.
Yes.
We are starting with the career, just so everybody is up to speed on what's happening. So career first, and we'll alternate back and forth.
Joe Biden, career politician. He's done it for 40 plus years, going on 50 years now. And he got off to a hot start getting into politics right after the whole civil rights wave had taken over the country. People were dealing with the aftermath and the backlash of all of that. And Delaware was facing a situation where they were needing to vote on whether or not they should bus children into schools where they normally wouldn't be, meaning desegregating the schools. Joe Biden had this to say about desegregating schools. He said in 1977, look at him. Look at that guy. Look at that smile with real teeth and already losing his hair. Already losing his hair, which is kind of sad. But he said, Biden said integrating black students would turn schools into a jungle, a racial jungle.
Oh, no.
More specifically, he said, I don't want my children to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle. So there you go. He was a staunch advocate for not desegregating and not busing kids into schools where they don't belong, quote unquote. And he spun it like a master, like a gentleman always would spin this, as saying that those who were trying to bus black kids into white schools were the racists, because they were saying the only way your black kid could be smart is if he sat next to my blonde, blue-eyed kid. How racist is that? And where's the black pride? All this black pride going on with the Million Man March and the I Have a Dream. You're just throwing it all out the window, joining up with Whitey. I can't agree more. Truly, gentlemen.
That's a good point. It's hard to argue that.
It is. He went on. He had a little bit more to say about the black community. If you would for me, my number 3. A gentleman always looks out for minorities. Look at that hairdo. Oh, man. It just gets... I think this is my favorite picture of Joe Biden. Except for that first one with the earphones. I love that hair. Joe Biden said, I think the two-party system, although my Democratic colleagues won't like me saying this, I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro and good for the black in the South. He said it that way, too. He paused after saying black. And good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little bit. So,
I mean, he's your nominee, but, good ideas all around. I mean, it's hard to argue.
A gentleman always looks out for the Negro in the South.
the Negro
I can say that.
in the South.
In the South. Now, Casey, I've got a list here of some false accusations from some ladies that Joe may have come across while a senator. And I just want to, read this because, as we all know, in the 2016 presidential election, it came out a little video, little audio recording of Trump. May or may not come up today, but he had to do a little bit of dodging. He had to do a little bit of moving and shaking to get around a false accusation.
I was going to say, not sure why he had to dodge anything. We'll get back to it.
We'll get back to that. But Joe Biden is a gentleman because a gentleman never lets the accusation stick. The following are some accusations against former Vice President Joe Biden. A woman named something Reed. First names don't matter here.
Amberlynn, I think.
Amberlynn Reed first alleged in April 2019 that Biden would repeatedly put his hand on my shoulder and rub his finger up my neck. In March 2020, Reed first publicly alleged that Biden sexually assaulted her in 1993, pressing her against a wall in a Capitol Hill corridor, reaching under her skirt and digitally penetrating her. Obviously a fake allegation. Why would you come out with that?
What was she wearing?
27 years later. 27 years later? Right after he had already... Come on. Another woman, something Flores, I don't know what her first name is, said that while she was preparing to go on stage at a 2014 rally during her race for lieutenant governor, Biden came up behind her, put his hands on her shoulders, smelled her hair, and kissed the back of her head. No big deal. No big deal.
I do that all the time.
I do that to everybody. She said, my brain couldn't process what was happening. Typical. I was embarrassed. I was shocked. I was confused, she wrote. The Vice President of the United States of America had just touched me in an intimate way, reserved for close friends, family, or romantic partners. You're welcome.
So I just had to find a closet to flick one to. Like, what's her problem?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I've been sexually molested by much worse. And I felt powerless to do anything about it. Allie Cole, doesn't matter, a former Democratic staffer told the Washington Post in April 2019, again, very opportunistic, that when she met Biden in 2008, he complimented her smile, what an asshole, squeezed her shoulders, and held her for, quote, a beat too long. And as we all know, a beat
29 minutes.
Like that. Could be like that. Just a beat.
That's right.
Here's a beat. A beat too long? No big deal. Sophie Karasek, a progressive organizer, was photographed holding hands and touching foreheads with Biden at the 2016 Academy Awards. Karasek said she felt Biden violated her personal space. No shit, you were touching foreheads. Karasek was one of dozens of... This is the funniest part of the story to me. Okay, hold on, let me get this. Karasek said she felt Biden violated her personal space. Karasek was one of dozens of sexual assault survivors who stood on stage while Lady Gaga performed Till It Happens to You, a song concerning rape and sexual assault. So just kind of bad feeling out the room on Biden's part. That's it. You know, he's
a friendly guy.
Maybe be a little more sensitive. Yeah, maybe be a little more sensitive, you know. 12 rape survivors on a stage at a Lady Gaga concert. Just don't touch anybody. Just don't look at them. They're ruined. They're a mess. Just walk away. Leave it alone. Amy Stokes, in April 2019, alleges that Biden put his hands behind my head and pulled me close. Okay. Caitlin Caruso said that after she shared her story of sexual assault at a University of Nevada event in 2016, Biden hugged her, quote, just a little bit too long, again, subjective, and put his hand on her thigh. I mean, where does the thigh begin?
Was it the right amount of
vagina
time?
Start?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who knows? That tubing down there is all a mystery. It doesn't even really cross your mind that such a person would dare perpetrate harm like that, Caruso told the New York Times. He's not a superhero. He's a gentleman, but he's not a superhero. Come on. These are supposed to be people you can trust. Politicians. You fucking idiot. Politicians are supposed to be the people you can trust the most. In tonight's case, that is true. That is true for both of us. Vale Conert says Biden put his hand on the back of my head and pressed his forehead to my forehead. She was so shocked by her encounter with Biden that it was hard to focus on what she was saying. Foreheads and shoulders.
I'm hearing foreheads and shoulders and one digital insertion. I'm not like, what's the problem?
What's the problem? Between friends. In June 2019, when Biden met a voter's granddaughter, he asked her age. After she replied that she was 13 years old, Biden turned to her brothers and said, "You've got one job here. Keep the guys away from your sister." Gentlemen.
100% agree.
Not creepy. Not creepy at all. Now, Casey, just to reiterate how not creepy Joe Biden is, if you would just please play my video, because now there is video evidence of how innocent really all his touching is, and what a gentleman really he is with all these women.
Because
and there's an expert on gentlemanness.
Position of power over a child. I am Anthony Zankis. I am an expert in the fields of sexual violence, family violence, and trauma. It's really hard to just look at
He must be a blast at parties.
somebody and say that person's a predator. What you have to do is look at the behaviors and listen to the things that they say.
We met before. It's hard to forget those eyes. Look at those eyes. Look at them.
Can I want just a moment?
Very clear warning signs are adults who ignore children's boundaries when it comes to touching, kissing, holding, or tickling. They will engage in those behaviors with the child and continue them despite the fact that a child squirms away or pulls away or voices any sort of discomfort verbally or non-verbally. Most adults take those cues and realize, oh, they don't want to be hugged or tickled right now, and that's fine. Sex offenders and predators just plow right through it.
That's
Another
a boy.
is sexualizing a child by talking about dating or their bodies in a way that would not be appropriate for their age.
How old are you, 17? Oh, 6. You're turning 11. You're beautiful. Just remember, no dates till you're 30. No dates till you're 30 years old.
In my field, we often say that child sex predators don't just groom children, they groom families and communities. Seeing these behaviors in an adult doesn't mean that adult is a predator or would ever harm a child. But what it does do is it sets that child up to grow up in a world where they view these violations of personal space as normal, and that's unacceptable. Everyone, regardless of their gender expression or age, deserves to walk through this world with their physical boundaries intact and not living in fear that they'll be violated. Offenders have depended on not only the silence of their victims, but our silence. If we allow children the permission to say no or speak up for them when they can't, you're going to go a long way in preventing so much harm.
So, Casey,
Oh my God.
I love the smell. I love the smell of gasoline. I can't explain it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anytime I get a whiff of it, I move in closer. I love it. Joe Biden clearly loves the smell of the shampoo that all of these girls are using, and he just loves to smell that. He probably can't explain it. It's nothing sexual. It just, you know, and the girls are the kind of height that he just has to be right up under their boob. He has to put his hand there because where else is he going to put it?
There's
Not
nowhere
on her
else.
at all? Not on her at all? That's not an option.
Most of them are too short to reach their thigh, so the shoulder's really where you can get to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. So a gentleman, he stands and he remains.
That's uncomfortable. Watching that video with that guy talking over it.
But, you know, Orange Man bad, so we'll get to that.
Okay. All right. What's next?
I think that's it for my my career. I rest my
Okay.
case.
Well, arguing for Joe Biden, anyone should have that be it for their career. That sounds good. DC, my nominee, not only for a gentleman. Well, this feels like a moot point, honestly, to be fair. One, we all know he's a gentleman already. And two, I mean, what am I going to say to you guys that you haven't already heard? My gentleman this week is Donald J. Trump. Now, the Don, he's had a very successful career. And, you know, I could play all kinds of clips from his presidency of him accomplishing things and this and that, but let's just go through this piece by piece and just assume that you guys have been paying even 1% attention the last 4 years. DC. Now we're going to talk about a real superhero. A self-made man. Man who came from nothing and overcame the odds and through, I think, more adversity than almost anyone's ever faced has persevered and come out the other side. A gentleman and someone I think we can all look up to. So throughout his career, he's had many successes, be it taking the small investment from his dad, varying anywhere from $6 to like $400 million. It's somewhere in there. Taking that.
It was one. How dare you? It was 1 million.
Yeah, there's varying reports.
I mean,
on how much it went to, how much it ended up being over time. There's varying reports. Not many of them have the number staying at 1 million. He's had many successes throughout his career, whether it's building up buildings in Manhattan, teaching our youth, not only through becoming a public servant, but through the Trump University. Lives were changed there. Lives were changed there for the better. DC, Donald Trump feeds the hungry. He created Trump steaks in his career. And I don't know about you, but not a night goes by. If the day ends in Y, I'm eating a Trump steak. That's what I've always said.
I prefer the taco. I prefer the taco bowls, but
he led a fantastic challenge against the U.S. or against the NFL with the USFL, and it almost worked. Just this close.
Like every other league, just that close.
That close. He he's a leader of men. Now you could say like, duh, Casey, he's the president of the United States. Of course he's a leader of men. He once led Bobby Lashley to victory over Umaga at WrestleMania and shaved Vince McMahon's head. All in one night. You get me Joe Biden's.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
That's why he's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
It's my next note. He is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Damn.
He's a.
I mean, Trump sucks.
He's a legend. And by the way, DC, despite what everybody thinks, never filed for bankruptcy. Not once. Not once. True gentleman. A true gentleman. Now, DC.
You're sure?
Positive.
Really? He never filed for bankruptcy once?
Yeah, positive. Definitely true. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Now, DC, back in the day, Trump was a dashing young man. Now he's a dashing old man, but he was a good-looking young man, and he had a lot of opinions. And when you talk about career, you talk about somebody that formulates a plan, sets goals, attacks those goals, and then accomplishes them. So let's flash back a couple of decades, DC, to our commander-in-chief.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been.
Look at the belief he's inspiring in these audience members, DC. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Job done. Job done.
Yeah, the funniest thing is that even back on Oprah, he was doing this move.
He loves the hand thing. He's a big hand guy. It's a big hand. Have you seen? Did we talk about this?
He is a little hand guy.
No. That's fake news. Have you seen the video of someone putting in an electric, like an accordion?
An accordion and playing it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really, that's really great. And DC, just to close up my career, because with Trump, I mean, I had the easy task here. I mean, I wanted to nominate Donald Trump as a gentleman, but we've all been on this ride together. And with basically the entire media out to get him, we've all seen all of these things before. My last point, when we're talking career accomplishments and who should be president, the only difference I can really find between Donald Trump and Joe Biden is that they both have run for president and Donald won. So he is, he's the guy. It's the only way
he's
to
gotten
go.
out of the primaries twice.
That's right. That's right. DC, let's shift into category 2 of 3.
Okay.
Which is the family. I'll go first.
All right.
I'll go first in category 2. Now, we mentioned Donald's dad, Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Trump was a self-starter, very go-get-em kind of guy. Started his own business as a 15-year-old. He was called the Henry Ford of apartments, or the Henry Ford of whatever word that would be. Hid his German heritage, which everyone kind of knows that they're German, but they kind of hid it because they were afraid of Jewish tenants not liking them if they were German. And I just want to point out and just give congratulations to everyone on the left that took down Donald Trump with the whole Durump thing a few years ago. They got him. It's over. It was over years ago.
Nailed him.
Nailed him. I mean,
take that.
Congratulations to you guys. You did it. Job done early on. You really nipped it in the bud there. And there was a couple things about Fred, arrested at a KKK rally, but it was unclear whether or not he was just spectating or participating.
No, he's probably fighting the guys. He's probably like, hey, I'll give you what for.
That's true.
But that's what he was there for. Yeah.
And he financially supported our gentleman to glory. So Fred, a good man, and the hero of Donald J. DC, his family, I mean, it's hard to argue. He raised the hot daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he raised her or if a series of Mexican women raised her. But
We'll have none of that. He is a gentleman. He is a father. I'm sure he drove her to dance recitals and had the camcorder in the back of the room. There's no doubt about that.
Probably true.
He raised Donald Trump Jr., a gentleman in his own right.
He's hilarious.
He is
hilarious.
All his own accolades. He raised Barron Trump, who started as an adorable kid and is now a dashing Ichabod Crane, which is really good.
I don't think I've seen a picture of Barron Trump since the election night, like 4 years ago, when he was like falling asleep trying to stay awake.
That's right, yeah. I didn't know how old he was. I was like, just leave him out of it. I'll just call him Ichabod Crane and move on. He's tall and gangly now. That's all he is. You're
not even gonna touch the autism? Okay, go ahead.
I couldn't, dude. I didn't see any. There was no videos. I did some searching. I didn't find anything worth bringing. But I don't know. Maybe we can honor something. If you find something, we can maybe do a revisit next week.
I was just basing it off the word of Rosie O'Donnell, who is very trustworthy.
That's true.
If you ask Joe Biden, probably.
That's true. We might get back to Rosie at some point. And we know these are all good kids because in the 2016 town hall debate, which was famous for Ken Bone, the fat guy in the red T-shirt.
Love that guy, and he loves himself some pregnant porn.
He certainly does. Ken Bone, not a good guy. But
he's fine. He was very complimentary. He called them little human submarines.
Ken Bone,
he's very complimentary.
We might have to honor him.
Yeah.
We know that they're good kids because during that town hall debate, one of the audience members asked, could you guys say something nice about each other? And Hillary said that, I like his kids, so he must be a good dad. And if Hillary thinks he's a good dad, I think we can take that at face value.
Yeah.
Hillary's trustworthy. DC, finally, to close up my family section, he's a good husband. But as we all know, any good husband is really a good leader. Right? Women need to be led the right direction, and Donald is a guy that can do those things.
We just got along very well. There's a friendship.
Do you all argue?
Yes, but not greatly. I'll tell you truthfully, we don't have tremendous fights. We should have world record-setting fights, but we really don't. We get along very well, and there's not a lot of disagreement because ultimately Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
See, wait a minute.
Male chauvinist.
Right, men? Is that right?
He's got the fist pump going.
I'm not gonna change my mind. Joe Biden is the best, no matter how funny that was.
Right, men.
Right, men.
All right, you're up.
On the Oprah show, he did that.
Oh, of course.
Right, men? The one gay dude in the back. Boo! All right. so Joe Biden. Biden's family.
I saw a clip the other day from, apparently there's a Kelly Clarkson show. She's got her own show. It's like her
what about weight loss?
No, I don't think so. I think it's about
probably not
weight maintenance. About how to stay exactly where you are or how to get there. No, but it looks like remember the Ellen clip, right? They've got all the TV screens all the way around the room now for the virtual audience. And the Kelly Clarkson show, I think it was like 38 women, and there was one guy in a T-shirt in the back, like, yeah, like just dancing along with the music. And I wanted to zoom in on that guy. We might have to take a peek at that too.
Honorary lady of the night. That guy. All right, so Joe Biden has been in the news specifically for his family, and I applaud him for a gentleman always covers for the family. Go ahead and play number 5 for me, if you would.
Okay, Mr. Biden, if I can.
Sure.
Questions and controversy continues today about
Hunter Biden, your son's...
There is no controversy about my
overseer
son.
doing
It's
his
all a lie.
crimes.
It's a flat lie because the president has nothing else to run on.
That's it. Very straightforward.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It's a flat lie. Casey, please play number 6. This is Hunter Biden himself.
Give me a moment. 6.
Mm-hmm.
I get calls from my father to tell me that the New York Times is calling, but my old partner Eric, who literally has done me harm for I don't know how long, is the one taking the calls because my father will not stop sending the calls to Eric. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Koh, the fucking spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded. It is now missing. The richest man in the world is missing, who was my partner. He was missing since I last saw him in his $58 million apartment and signed a $4 billion deal to build the fucking largest fucking LNG port in the world. And I am receiving calls from the Senator from New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself.
I don't know.
My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me.
It's like stapling shit.
In a criminal case, and my father without telling me.
Oh, a gentleman never throws his dad under the bus. Hunter, what the hell? Not a gentleman. Hunter Biden, not a gentleman.
Not nominated tonight.
Now, if you don't know, if you haven't been keeping up with all the crazy hoopla, one of Hunter Biden's ex-business partners, Bublinski or some Polish guy, he was a Navy SEAL. He entered business ventures with Hunter Biden overseas. Shit got real, and Biden entered the presidential race. So let the dirt digging begin. They find out all this crazy shit that Hunter was doing in Ukraine, and Hunter and his other associates throw this Boblinski, whatever guy, under the bus for saying that, yeah, no, whatever he's saying is not true. It's Russian counterintelligence or counter information or whatever, anti-information, whatever they call it. He can't be trusted and he's a bad guy, and they basically soiled his name. So this guy, disinformation. Thank you, chat. This guy comes out on Fox News and does a full interview, basically laying it out that, Hunter was going around selling Joe Biden's name basically to all these companies to try to gain favor with the sitting vice president who has potential to run for president in the future. It's very valuable. And he's like, well, I think it was, I don't remember who was interviewing him, but anyway,
Tucker
he's
Carlson.
like, so Tucker Carlson, he's like, does he have any international business credentials at all? Like before this, like, is this credible in any way? And he's like, no, he hadn't, like, there's no reason why he would be doing international business at all. Like the only thing he had was his dad's name. And then it comes out all these emails and texts and things like that show Hunter throwing his dad under the bus again, saying like, the big guy, that's what he called him. The big guy needs to okay this, or the big guy says like, don't do this, hold off on this right now. And basically fucks Joe Biden over. So definitely not a gentleman, Hunter Biden. If you would play number 7 for me, I've titled this one, A Gentleman Always Makes His Wife Feel Like a True Part of His Family.
They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing. By the way, This is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is Val, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
Oh, boy.
Folks.
Called his wife his sister. That's embarrassing.
That happens.
That doesn't happen. That's never happened to me. Let's see here. I think that's all I've got. That's all I've got for family on Joe Biden.
Well, then it's time for presidential qualities.
Yes, which Biden is full of, but I will concede. Go ahead with Trump's presidential qualities, sir.
All right, so elephant in the room. Let's get it out of the way. It's probably been a while since we've all seen it.
Amberlynn Reed.
Amberlynn Reed. We miss anything with her? Is there anything else we got to go over on Amberlynn? Y'all good with? I
No,
can't
she's
get
still
enough.
losing. She's still losing weight every week, and she's doing great.
Okay, all right, good. I'm glad to hear it. 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. Some news footage came out from Access Hollywood of our gentleman in the back of a bus. And Hunter Biden is not a gentleman. We know that. But I do have a secret honorary gentleman in this clip, which is Billy Bush. Billy Bush, ultimate locker room guy. No, Billy Bush in this clip is brutal in the background. Just brutal to listen to.
He's a weasel.
But he has a gentlemanly move at the end. So, DC, let's revisit the back of the bus here.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and her. She was married. No, Nancy. No, this was marriages, and I moved on
Yeah, let's really just focus on Billy Bush, because we've all heard what Trump has to say.
her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there, and she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my.
He called him the Donald in the room with him.
Oh, my God.
It's really bad. So let's remember, they're talking about the lady outside the bus.
Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your legs.
Set this up.
That is very.
You give me the thumbs
Look
up.
at you. You are a
You
piece.
gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up.
Can't be too happy.
It's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Joe's the same way. We've
magnet.
learned.
You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Just giggling. He's just giggling.
Listen, in context, it's clearly a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But now, Billy Bush is going to redeem it all. Here's the honorary gentleman call for him right here.
Hi.
Trump, how
nice
are
seeing
you?
you. Terrific.
Pleasure to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little hug,
Okay,
darling?
absolutely.
How about a
Melania
little
said
hug for
this
the
was
bushy?
okay.
I just
This dude is standing there like, yeah, hi. Hold on, I want to say a hug thing. Just let me get to my hug thing. Oh, you guys have
How
already
about a
moved
hug?
on? You guys have already moved on to the soap star thing? Hold on, let's go back to the introductions. How about a hug?
What a douche.
Yeah, Billy Bush sucks. So, presidential qualities. Much like Joe, undefeated against sexual assault allegations. So he's got that going, which is always good. Championed the women vote in 2016, and as you guys saw in the open to the show today, he's still after that women's vote. He's really a champion of women, is what I'm trying to say. He's really a champion. He's a great leader. He's tall. He's got huge hands.
Huge hands.
Real hair. right? Lots of presidential qualities, but DC,
I think his hair is real, though. For real. I think his hair is real.
yeah, it's just combed poorly, but combed.
A lot. It's combed a lot.
But DC, the ultimate presidential quality from Donald Trump that Joe definitely doesn't have is he's goddamn hilarious. He's a goddamn hilarious guy. Let's go through some examples.
Want to go back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Trump.
Now, just for the record, the next question he asked, he goes, "What's your name?" And the kid went, "Name." But still, it's fine.
Yeah. Hey, he knows kids.
That's right.
He knows kids.
Who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
Don't worry about that, baby. I love babies. Actually, I was only kidding. You can get the baby out of here.
This is something you shouldn't have. What was that? Is that a dog? Uh-oh. It's Hillary.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
It's a fair point. It's a fair cop.
He's a fucking gentleman. I don't care what anybody says.
He's hilarious.
So, DC, presidential qualities. Here are my top 4 reasons to vote for Donald Trump in this presidential election.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, top 3. I eliminated one. Top 3 reasons. Number 1, he's not Joe Biden. Number 2,
Yep.
he saved us from that.
Yeah.
And number 3, always be trolling. That's what he's out there
ABC, baby.
doing. That's what he's out there
baby,
doing.
Always be trolling.
Every single day. Donald Trump, a true goddamn gentleman.
All right. That's a hard case to go up against, but I'll try. Casey, presidential qualities are just flowing out of Joe Biden. He may not be or have ever been the president of the United States like Trump, so obviously he's got a little bit of catching up to do, but he did spend 8 years under Obama, and I like to think that he has all the presidential qualities that the American public needs. Number 1, Joe never misses a photo op. If you'll play number 8.
Candidate for president in this race is walking off the plane, arriving in Florida just moments ago. Former Vice President Joe Biden. He's there to try to court Latino voters. Polls are showing President Trump is making gains, particularly with Cuban Americans. Some political analysts say that 59 electoral college votes will decide. Right now.
Ignore that lady.
Oh, that lady fucking
probably
rules.
high on. She's probably high on crack.
Oh my god, there's nobody there.
Casey, if you would play number 8 for me now. A gentleman never acts like a warmonger. In fact, he would not ever use the word war.
Country is the biggest threat to America.
Well, I think the biggest threat to America right now in terms of breaking up our security and our alliances is Russia. Secondly, I think that the biggest competitor is China. And depending on how we handle that will determine whether we're competitors or we end up being in a more serious competition relating to force.
A more serious competition related to force. A war, you pussy. I mean, excuse me.
It's your gentleman.
Excuse me.
Clean it up.
Excuse me. I misspoke. God. He was just being diplomatic.
Leadership quality, for sure.
Sorry, that got away from me.
It was an embarrassing moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Casey, number 10. A gentleman always shoots straight. tells it like it is.
Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Wow, that's what an accomplishment.
There you go. The most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the United States.
Well,
tells it like it is, straight up.
That seems like something you wouldn't admit to, but good job. It's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it does. It does seem like something you wouldn't admit to. Now, number 11, as my son approaches. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, bud? Did you wake up? Oh, come here. Come here. Here, have a seat. There we go. Have a seat.
I spun the cameras back off for any purpose, but we can put them back on if you want.
No, I appreciate you doing that. Why don't you go ahead, Casey, and number 11 is a gentleman always takes the edge off of racism. Go ahead and play this and then react to it while I take my son back to bed.
Got it.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. In terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans that were these Shylocks who took advantage.
Shylocks.
Oh,
That's not
boy.
what you want.
Yeah, I'd seen the first one before. The poor kids are just as talented and just as bright as white kids.
Which is not true. But anyway, just kidding. Just kidding. The poor white kids have no shot at getting into college. They are the most disadvantaged. If you're a poor white kid who's stupid, learn a trade, bud. You are not getting anywhere. You are not going to get into college. You're not going to get into any private school. You're not going to get any handouts at all because of this. That's why. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Because congratulations, your poor father and maybe poor grandfather and poor great-grandfather. Who knows how many generations of poor you are, but it doesn't matter because you're super privileged. So congratulations and good luck. Good luck in life. Next, Casey, a gentleman always, whatever the fuck he just said, number 12.
International effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China.
Why don't you play that again? Play that again. See if anybody can determine what the fuck he just said.
All right, everybody in chat, you're trying to decipher this. We'll see if anybody can get it.
True international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China. True international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China. True international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China.
That was his rally. Like, that's a please vote for me sentence.
Oh, boy. Let's see if anybody... No, nobody has it. Nobody has it. What do you think it was? Something pressure?
So pressure and isolate and punish China.
Well, that's not great. That's not a great.
All I know is that he's got my vote, and he is a gentleman today, a gentleman yesterday, and a gentleman forever. Joe
No
Biden.
arguing that, DC. No arguing that. Well, we've done a lot. We talked about the always getting thinner Amberlynn Reed.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the Wilpons being unjustly ousted from Major League Baseball.
They were.
And we've covered, potentially two of the greatest gentlemen that we've covered so far. I'm curious to see where they rank after this week. I
Me
think
too.
Donald's going to definitely be on the positive side.
Well, I threw out the old feelers with a Twitter poll. I'll probably toss it on Facebook this week, but everybody's in the voting spirit. And if you go now to at 2gentlemenpod on Twitter, you can find the poll yourself. Go ahead and vote on it. Maybe I'll extend it a few days because by the time you hear this, the poll will be the original poll will be ending. But we might as well keep it open until Election Day. Why not?
Yeah, I don't see any purpose as to why we can't. I'm excited. You can vote, by the way, on the Hall of Gentlemen at 2goddamngentlemen.com. I should put that in the intro, shouldn't I? Like in the opening spiel that you could vote. I don't think we ever tell.
And you don't even you don't even need to register. I mean, you could be 4 years old and you could vote on how shitty of a person Maddox is, and everybody has. And everybody should.
And by the way, I might have 6 honorary ladies already for our next Patreon show.
Damn.
Yeah, like
really.
I'm really deep dive, like to the point where now you guys we need way more patrons to make sense to do Patreon shows all the time. Like not every show, but I mean ladies of the night twice a month or 3 times a month or every week.
Right. I mean we've cracked double digit patrons, but if we crack 3-digit money numbers a month, we'll do it.
We've reached Amber Lynn size pants, but we have not quite gotten gotten further past that.
Correct. Size 6, by the way. That's what she is.
She's a size 6?
According to her. Like, she did, some
video... 6-foot picnic table cover? Tablecloth?
Yeah, size 6 feet under after she dies of cancer.
size 6-foot circus tent? Or 6-ring circus tent? Fuck.
6-ring circus. Oh, Casey, I can't. It's too funny.
What do you do with a womb tumor?
What do you do with a womb tumor? I think, on a regular person or on Amberlyn Reed? On Amberlyn Reed, I think what they're going to have to do is, Jesus, I don't know if a hospital can do this. They might have to go to the veterinary clinic for SeaWorld and get her onto one of their tables and move her business up. But again, when we talked about King Henry's sex bed, put a partition at the neck so that the fat does not the gravitational pull of the fat suffocate her upside down and just rest against the glass. And then they can get at her business more easily. And then I think they use an extender on the scalpel so that they can cut a good 8 inches at a time instead of just the regular 1 inch. And then as they scoop, it just grows back like she's the fucking blob. Yeah, then they cut in.
Takes the tumor home for a snack on the ride.
It just becomes stomach cancer, or however cancer works. Nobody knows. Yeah, I think that's how they do it. I think they then take out the womb. They they remove the 7 failed periods that didn't come out. They just
the backlog.
I've said too much. Casey, I hope that I've convinced you to vote for Joe Biden. You've certainly convinced me not to vote. And we'll see you next week.
The search for the ultimate gentleman continues.
True international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China.
Meeting adjourned.